In part 2 of this presentation, we will discuss crime measurement. First, let's start with a quick review of what we learned last week. As criminologists, we should ask ourselves a few fundamental questions. 1. Why is crime measured? 2. How is crime measured? And 3. What exactly are we measuring when we measure crime? Crime is measured to produce social change, provide accurate descriptions, assist in informing good policy, and of course for political reasons. Crime is measured by using data from institutional statistics, voluntary sector data, and self-report surveys. And when we measure crime, we are measuring incidences, frequency, distribution, concentration, type of crime, and type of offender and victim. So you might be thinking to yourself, hey, this sounds pretty good. That's a lot of information on crime. But not so fast. While there may be a lot of information on crimes that have been reported to the police and other agencies, we have little to no information on unreported crimes, and sadly, these crimes make up a majority of crimes as a whole. The unknown figure of crime is known as the dark figure of crime. Now that we have completed a brief overview of what we learned last week, let's shift our focus to last week's reading, An Unfinished Journey, The Evolution of Crime Measurement in the United States, by Daniel J. Patton. The first critique I have of this reading is that the title is fitting because crime measurement is constantly evolving, and the journey of its evolution has truly just begun. According to the author, crime is a labeling of deviant behavior, and the academic field of criminology is the rational attempt at measuring and studying crime from a neutral perspective. So what's the issue with crime measurement? Well, the issue is that crime is socially constructed. But before we get into that, let's review the history of crime measurement. In 1790, the first U.S. Census was conducted, and though its focus was not on crime, it illuminated some major flaws with data collection. First, due to the lack of technology at the time, it provided inaccurate measurements. Second, due to the racial disparities of the time, race could not properly be delineated. Now let me introduce you to Adolphe Quetelet. He was a positivist interested in using the scientific method in the social world, with a specific interest in crime statistics. Aware of the limitations of official data, he decided to use the scientific method to make empirically backed discoveries. These discoveries, as Mr. Patton says, have stood the test of time, and his use of the methodological approach to create theories have paved the way for all researchers interested in social science. But back to U.S. history for crime measurement. It was a sad state of affairs in 1829, as New York was the first and only state to gather crime statistics on those entering the judicial system. By 1905, it wasn't too much better, and only 25 states were following suit, and the lack of a standardized definition of crime led to massive discrepancies between agencies and states. Furthermore, data collection between court agencies and police were lacking, at best, and therefore accurate data analysis was nearly impossible. To solve this problem, the International Association of Chief of Police were formed and tasked with producing the first UCR. Eventually, operations were handed over to the FBI, where the UCR remains today. But what about crime mapping? Cue the Chicago School. By 1892, the University of Chicago opened its Department of Sociology, and from this department came theories about crime and its relation to the environment. No longer was crime based on biological and genetic factors alone. This was huge. Two notable sociologists from the Chicago School were Robert Park and Ernest Burgess. Park and Burgess, along with their students, mapped crime in Chicago by neighborhood and used the empirical data to produce what is known as the concentric zone model. This model later influenced Clifford Shaw and Henry Mackay's social disorganization theory. So now we are really seeing how the use of scientific method and empirical data influences the development of a theory and the measurement of crime. But hold on just a second. All that was in the sociology department? Where are all the criminologists? The first school of criminology wasn't established until 1950. And if you're looking for someone to thank, look no farther than August Vollmer. August Vollmer has quite an impressive resume. He was chief of police of Berkeley, California, professor at UC Berkeley, and the creator of the National Association of College Police Training Officials, now known as the American Society of Criminology. Through observation, Vollmer saw the need for formal police training, and with that, he birthed the first school of criminology at UC Berkeley. Thanks, Vollmer. And so, there is the evolution of crime measurement as outlined in last week's reading. But wait, that's not all. Let's review the 3 methods of data collection together. First, the UCR. Second, self-report surveys. And third, victimization surveys. Thanks for watching.